Hello and welcome to Made in Nightmares 2023 still, and now we're moving on to a new subject, which is a subject that I love, and that is the fact that I am a huge pro wrestling fan. Not only that, I love pro wrestling history, and I decided with my new series called Wrasslin History to take a look at some individuals that kind of fit the spooky season. I got some interesting ones, some you might not know, some you do, and some you might have went, what? And one of these guys today is definitely under the category of what? And the first individual we're going to talk about is the Deamon, which debuted in August of '99 in WCW. The character was originally portrayed by Brian Adams, as seen here. And what he was supposed to be was an introduction to having the Kiss characters make their wrestling debut. And of course, Kiss worked their way into making this possible. But here's the thing. When the Deamon debuted during a live performance of God of Thunder by Kiss on the episode of Nitro, it was one of the lowest rated segments in WCW history. So the plans that they had were scrapped, but they still had to honor Kiss's agreement that the Deamon would be billed as a special main event. So that meant that whether it was the fourth match in or something like that, the Deamon was a special event. But, it gets worse from there, sort of. See, because the plans changed, they also changed up the character, and Brian Adams no longer went on to portray the Deamon. But don't feel bad for Brian Adams, because he, along with Brian Clark, would form the Team Chronic, and in the late dying days of WCW, they were a dominant tag team. So who portrayed the Deamon? Well, it was none other than a guy named Dale Torberg. And I can see you're wondering, who the heck is Dale Torberg? Let me tell you. Dale Torberg made his WCW and initially pro wrestling debut in 1998. And he, pictured left here, was part of a tag team for a while called the WCW Pit Crew, which is a reference to like WCW's NASCAR car. I don't know the statistics on it, but that was that. And this team was basically a jobber team. Once that team was dissolved, Dale Torberg went on to be a solo act, and he was relegated to Thunder, pretty much jobbing, but he was also called the MVP, and he was wearing a baseball shirt and Atlanta Braves colors. The reason why he's wearing Atlanta Braves colors is because Ted Turner, who was the owner of WCW, was also the owner of the Atlanta Braves. That's why. So with nowhere else to go, they gave him the Deamon character, and Dale did the best he could. But WCW just gave up on him as the Deamon. No, really. They honored Kiss's agreement to make him be like a special main event, but anytime he appeared on pay-per-views, he lost every match. Anytime he was on Nitro, he lost every match he was in. And the only time he secured wins was on the B-Show Thunder. And unless you were a diehard WCW fan and were watching Thunder, you didn't know about these wins. Matter of fact, one of his biggest and most embarrassing losses, it was against Sting at this WCW pay-per-view called New Blood Rising. And he lost against Sting in, I kid you not, a whopping total of 52 seconds. And if you want to know more about Dale Torberg's win-loss record in WCW and up until his retirement in pro wrestling, go check out Marky D123's video on him. It's interesting just to see how much WCW gave up on this character after just the low segment and just figuring it was dead on arrival. And after WCW closed, Dale Torberg did go on to wrestle a little bit more as the Deamon in Hulk Hogan's short-lived XWF Federation. And after that, he just disappeared for a while. But he ended up doing a couple things post-wrestling career. First of all, he ended up marrying his manager when he was as known as the Deamon in WCW. Her name was Asia. And they've still continued to be married. And you know what? You can't take away their happiness as a couple. Because when two people love each other, it's a beautiful thing. And from there, he went on to be a strength and conditioning coach in the MLB for the 2003 Marlins and the 2005 White Sox. And those were winning teams. And he's still sort of active in MLB a little bit as a strength and conditioning coach. I don't know which teams he's on now, but you know, if you've got the urge to be a personal trainer, go for it. And he's also done a little bit of acting. But having said all that, does he, forget about the Deamon and doesn't want to do anything with it? No, actually. No, he's managed to make sporadic appearances in wrestling, notably in Impact Wrestling on pre-shows or in small little segments. I mean, notably at one point he actually helped Barry Horowitz, yes, that Barry Horowitz, win a match against Johnny Swinger. Yes, that Johnny Swinger on an episode of Impact Wrestling. And you know what? You can't fault the guy for rising above mediocrity and making the most of what he could do. I don't blame him at all, and I don't hate the guy either. But, what happened. So comment below and let me know if you have any memories or opinions on the Deamon character from WCW. And while you're at it, be sure to tune in tomorrow. I've got more good content for this spooky season, especially in Wrasslin history.